All right, it is 10:10 on Monday morning, which means it is time for this week's episode of Instant Replay, North Georgia's only live online sports show. I'm your host, Lauren Hunter, here on another beautiful fall Monday morning. It is just fabulous outside. I was driving on the way here, passing all the trees that are starting to change colors. It is just absolutely gorgeous. And then speaking of gorgeous, you can see that picture right there on the screen. I took that on Friday night at the football game at Lumpkin County against Greater Atlanta Christian. So you can see what a beautiful weekend we've had. Well, maybe not entirely the entire weekend because Saturday was a little dreary, but there again, it is that time of year that I absolutely love because fall sports are in full swing, have been for several weeks now. Football is in region play, and everybody is up against one another looking for a spot in the playoffs. Softball has been going through state playoffs, and then volleyball is into state playoffs now as well. So as we go through this show, we're going to be talking about who is still in the running for playoffs, who is ranking where, and then we just have a lot of great things planned in the lineup today. So with that being said, welcome to this week's episode of Instant Replay. Let's go ahead and get started here with football and with White County. The Warriors got their first region win of the season at home for homecoming. So what a great game that was for the Warriors. They won against West Hall 42-0. The Warriors scored first early into the game with a carry by Cooper Turner. Then quarterback Jabin Haynes scored his first of 3 rushing touchdowns for the night shortly after. The White County defense stepped up as well, especially Darius Cannon. He got 2 interceptions in the second quarter and made several key tackles. The Warriors went into the half with a 35-0 lead, and then Silas Mulligan and Will Sampson each had an interception in the second half, so the Warriors were definitely out looking for a win. Haynes threw a pass to Jesse Thomas for a 49-yard touchdown in the third quarter, and the score went up to 42-0, and the fourth quarter was a total running clock. So congratulations to the Warriors for getting this first region win of the season. They are hosting the Denmark Danes at home on this Friday, the 25th. It will be the biggest game of the season so far for the Warriors because they need to win this game if they're going to be still in consideration for the playoffs, which undoubtedly they want to do. So our player of the week for the Warriors was quarterback Jabin Haynes because he was responsible for 5 out of the 6 touchdowns the Warriors scored on Friday night. 3 were on his own rushing touchdowns and 2 were passing. So congratulations to Jabin for being named this week's TeamFYNSports Writers Player of the Week for the White County Warriors. And that would be Carson Finley, our sideline reporter for the Warriors, who does an awesome job. Want to give him a shout out. Now, speaking of the Warriors looking for a playoff spot, we're going to talk a little bit about their region standings. This is Region 7 4A, which consists of Blessed Trinity, who's at the very top with a record of 6-1 overall and 3-0 in the region. Marist 8-0 overall and 4-0 in the region. Flowery Branch 5-1 and 2-1 in the region. Denmark 5-2, 2-2. White County 4-3, 1-2. So they are just below Denmark outside of that playoff standing. So they're definitely going to need to defeat the Danes if they're going to be in consideration for the playoffs. So definitely good luck to the Warriors on this game this Friday night. Chestatee falls behind the Warriors with an overall record of 1-6 and 0-3 in the region. And then finally West Hall rounding out the region there, 0-8 and 0-4 in the region. So again, good luck to the Warriors. Congratulations on this win. I know it had to feel great getting that win at home on homecoming. You always want to win on your homecoming. So congratulations to them as well. Congratulations to Jabin for being named this week's TeamFYNSports Writers Player of the Week. And then shout out to Carson Finley for all of the great work he does over there in White County for us. So that'll wrap it up for the Warriors this week as far as football is concerned. We're going to move on over into Dawson County, where the Tigers were actually on a bye week this past week. But they will host the Fannin County Rebels, who we also cover here at TeamFYNSports, this Friday. This will be a big region game as well. 2 of the best teams in the region, and we'll get into those standings in just a minute when we get to the Rebels, because I like to wait until we get to, since we cover several teams from that region, I like to wait till we get to the very last one so we can talk about that region as a whole with everybody in there that we cover. So we'll talk about the region when we get down into the Fannin County Rebels. But another big note that I want to make about the Dawson County Tigers is that this game that they will host against the Rebels is up for nomination as this week's High Five Sports Game of the Week. So I want to mention that, and also you can vote for the Tigers and Rebels as this week's Game of the Week by going to our Twitter page. Our sideline reporter RJ Casey actually retweeted that for us on our Twitter page. It is at TeamFYNSports, and when we come back for the break, we'll do our usual routine of going through all of our social media. So that would be an awesome thing for those two teams there to be named this week's Game of the Week. So definitely go and check that out when we get done here on the show or when we go to our break. Now, since the Tigers were on a bye week, there really wasn't a lot to talk about there, so we're going to go on over into Lumpkin County. Lumpkin County lost Friday night to one of the toughest teams in the region, which was Greater Atlanta Christian, but they put in great effort, went out there and played hard, and scored a touchdown, which was awesome for the Indians to get this touchdown against, again, one of the greatest teams in the region. Actually, after this week, don't want to spoil too much when we get into those region standings, but Greater Atlanta Christian is at the top of the region standings here for Region 7 3A. Lumpkin County also played well despite some injuries they had in some key starting positions. The players had to move around a little bit out of necessity, and we'll watch that interview with head coach Caleb Sorrells here in just a minute that I got after the game. But as a game recap, as I said, the Indians lost on the road against Greater Atlanta Christian by a final score of 49-6. The defense played hard, especially well. They held the Spartans to 3 and out on the first drive. Joseph Allison got a sack soon after. Jared Hope provided awesome coverage to break up passes. Ethan Klein got some tackles as well as some receptions on the offensive side of the ball. Bojack Dowdy was playing on defense. He's normally in the running back position, but he was playing defense a little bit in the second half of the game, and he got some great tackles and some stops there as well. Now, it took a minute for the offense to gear up for the Indians, but they got there. A couple of different plays showed the effort that the Indians were putting in. Brian Cunane ran for a first down on a fake punt, and the highlight of the night was quarterback Tucker Kirk handing off to Jackson Root, who passed to Brian Cunane for a touchdown. So a great moment. The Indians fans that were there and the team just went absolutely wild. It was a great time there, an awesome moment there for the Indians, who were excited that they were able to get that touchdown against the Spartans. Now, I mentioned that I got a post-game interview with head coach Caleb Sorrells, and Destiny will go ahead and play that for us, and then we'll talk about that after we watch the interview. All right, fans, this is Lauren Hunter here with head coach of the Indians, Caleb Sorrells. Coach, I heard you mention a little bit in the huddle last night. The scoreboard might say 49-6, but that does not demonstrate the effort that you guys put in tonight and some of the great plays that you had. So how about you give us your initial thoughts on the game?
Oh, yeah, that's the word, is effort. And we've been talking all season, but really trying to, in the last couple of weeks, just talk about how we need to be defined by our effort. That's the phrase we keep throwing around. It's not something that we do tacked on. It's not one of the many important things. It's the most important thing we do is just play with your guts left out on the field. You know, that's the kind of stuff we got to have. And they did that tonight. Were we outmatched physically? Yeah, for sure. We were outmatched physically. But we had a lot of fun, and we competed, and that's what we're supposed to do. You know, go out there and football's fun, and competing is fun, and so that's what we did. It was, obviously the score is not at all what you want, but it was fun.
Yeah, and speaking of fun, I mean, maybe fun isn't the word for it, but you guys did some different plays tonight. You took some risks, and they worked out for you. I saw that you had some players in different positions. So tell us a little bit about that, what you've been working on, and what you're going to keep working on for the season.
Part of it, the players in different positions was out of necessity more than anything. We had a ton of injuries. You never want to go into a game injured, but going against GAC, and I think we had 5 starters out tonight on defense, and 4 of those played offense too. Played two-way starters. So it was one of those things where, as the week went on, we were having to develop new personnel packages and who can play this and who's healthy and who can we not burn some snaps on offense so we can play more defense or vice versa. So, I guess necessity is the mother of invention, and so that's what it was for us this week.
All right, thank you so much, Coach.
A lot of great points there from that interview with head coach Caleb Sorrells, but one thing that I do want to mention first is that if nothing else on Friday night, the Indians proved that football can be fun. The guys, you could just tell, were going out there and playing, as Coach Sorrells said, with their guts out on the field, putting in a hard effort with every single play that they played, and especially considering the fact he said they had 5 starters out on defense and offense because they play both sides of the ball. So it was really out of necessity that they tried some different plays, including the highlights that I mentioned with Brian Cunane running on a fake punt, and then the pass from Jackson Root to Brian Cunane as well there. And these players that were healthy, really, they stepped up into these positions, and we'll talk about a player that did that here in just a minute. They stepped up out of necessity and really played extremely well. Played extremely well against a team that is very tough to beat in this region. They're consistently one of the top 2 teams in the region. So great effort there by the Indians, and that's the key word that Coach Searle said as well. The key word is effort. And that's exactly what the Indians did on Friday night. And I've been covering them this entire season, and with each game you can tell that's exactly what they're doing. Each game they come out there, and if nothing else, they put in great effort. So again, great job, great game there for the Indians on Friday night. Looking ahead, they're going to host region opponent North Hall at home on Friday. North Hall is 4-3 overall and 2-1 in the region. They defeated the Fannin County Rebels last Friday night, and we'll talk about that game a little bit more when we get down to the Fannin County segment. The player of the week this week for the Lumpkin County Indians was Jackson Root, one of those players that I mentioned that stepped up out of necessity but played extremely well. He threw a pass for a lone touchdown for the Indians in a surprise play on Friday night, and we talked about that a little bit as well earlier. And then again, we'll go over the region standings. For this region is Region 7, 3A, in which we have Dawson County, Lumpkin County, and Fannin County that we all cover here at Team FYN Sports that are within the same region. So we're going to hold off on that until we get on into Fannin County. Now, with that being said, before I get into Gilmer County, because I do want to go over, they had a great game on Friday night as well, but I don't want to get into their segment and have to cut halfway through. So let's go ahead and take our first break of this show, and when we come back, we'll continue our high school football highlights, kicking it off with the Gilmer County Bobcats, get on into the Pickens Dragons, and into Fannin County, and so much more. So definitely stick around here with us on this week's episode of Instant Replay. I'm your host, Lauren Hunter.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in LOJ, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair, and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on-site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Circuit World, with multiple locations to serve you in Murphy and Franklin, North Carolina, Blairsville, Blue Ridge, and LJ, Georgia. Locally owned and operated since 1985. Appliances, electronics, and furniture. Name brand products like LG, Samsung, Dell, Whirlpool, Ashley, Catnapper, and more. No credit check, only 10% down on furniture, and only $10 down on any new lease purchase. Mention FYN10 for your special deal today at Circuit World.
Hi everyone, Dave Garner here. You might know me as a regular contributor to Team FYN Sports and the Instant Replay, but did you know I'm also your local Woodman Life representative? My job is to make sure that families are protected through needs-based life insurance and retirement. I want to make sure that you leave your loved ones with memories, not expenses. Call me today to find out how I can help you to not outlive your money and that your money outlives you. Woodman Life, standing strong for generations.
Days ahead. October is Truck Month at Days Chevrolet in Jasper, with the year's biggest savings on every 2019 Chevy truck and SUV in Days' massive inventory, like over $11,000 off Silverado crew cabs, or more than $8,000 off new Chevy Colorados. So don't just sit there. Go save a payload during Truck Month, happening now at Days Chevrolet in Jasper, where new Chevy trucks always cost less. Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet. Find new roads.
Good morning and welcome back, everyone. Hope that you have had a great day so far, and I hope you had an even better weekend. Welcome to this week's episode of Instant Replay. I'm your host, Lauren Hunter, as usual. And before we go any further, I want to go ahead and tell you all how you can get in touch with us and follow us on social media. If you're watching this show live, you are already on our Facebook page. It is at TeamFYNSports. But if you're watching it on our YouTube channel, go ahead and go to our Facebook page. You can like it at TeamFYNSports. And then also on our YouTube channel, either way that you're watching it, subscribe to our YouTube channel there. It is FYN TV, Fetch Your News. A lot of great stuff goes up on there. We don't have just sports on our YouTube channel. We also have BKP's morning show that he does every morning at 8 a.m. And then we have all sorts of other videos. Our sports shows get uploaded there after we get done live streaming them. So we have all sorts of great stuff on there that you definitely don't want to miss out on. So go and subscribe to that as well so you can get notifications and stay up to date with everything Fetch Your News. Now also on Instagram and Twitter at TeamFYNSports. You can follow us there also. We post score updates throughout the games that we cover on Friday night. Each of our sideline reporters takes care of that for us. They do an awesome job. I'm so proud of my sports team, each and every one of them, for all of the effort that they put in and all of the hard work that they do for us. They do a phenomenal job. Now, if you want to get in touch with us, you can email us there. It is teamfynsports@fetchyournews.com. Those emails go directly to me, so if you have a shout out for a favorite athlete or maybe a team that you want to give a shout out to, you can just go ahead and send us an email there. And then you can also give us a call at that number right there in the bottom right corner. You can see that there. If you have any way that you want to get in touch with us or any reason, you can go ahead and give us either an email or you can give us a call there as well, whichever you prefer. So we're going to continue our high school football highlights here, kicking it off with the Gilmer County Bobcats. They may have lost to Heritage, but each week they are continuing to improve. And Richie Stone is our sideline reporter for Gilmer. He says that at this point, the Gilmer Bobcats may even be a playoff contender. So shout out to them for playing so well against the Heritage Generals. They fell 35-22, the Bobcats did, but again, great plays there for them in the game. Heritage came out of the gate ready to play and scored twice to go ahead at 15-0, but the momentum started to change when Heritage went for a fake punt attempt and did not get it. Kobe Stonecipher rushed for 15 yards, then Spencer Smith threw to Gray McClure to get inside the 5-yard line. Smith ran it up the middle for the Bobcats' first touchdown of the night and shortened the gap 15-7. The Gilmer offense took over deep in Heritage territory for the next possession, but an interception off of Smith led into another touchdown for the Generals. Going into the half, Heritage led 22-7. But coming out of halftime, the Bobcats went to work. Their next drive belonged to Stonecipher as he ran down the field and into the end zone. Smith punched the ball in for a 2-point conversion as well. Gilmer hoped to tie the game, but another interception pushed Heritage ahead 29-15. The Generals' next drive also ended in a touchdown to go ahead at 35-15. But Gilmer scored once more after some great carries by Donnie Ledford, and the final score was 35-22. So again, even though the Bobcats lost this game, as we mentioned with the Lumpkin County Indians in the previous segment, the scoreboard isn't everything. You've got to take into consideration the great plays they had, all of the awesome improvements they are making. So again, even though the Bobcats didn't win, we want to give them a shout out for continuing to improve with each and every game. Looking ahead, they're going to be on the road against Northwest Whitfield on Friday, the 25th. The player of the week for the Bobcats this week was Dawson Stevens. He is an offensive lineman who was an anchor for the line on Friday night and helped produce a solid rushing attack. So congratulations to Dawson there. Region standings, Region 6 4A, which the Pickens Dragons are also a part of. We're going to wait until we get to the Pickens Dragons to go over the region standings here. But before we get done with the Gilmer Bobcats, I do want to say that Gilmer Turf Talk will be back for another episode tonight since they had the game on Friday night. We'll be broadcasting that live on TeamFYNSports Facebook page starting at 7 p.m. Richie Stone will be there hosting, and he will have head coach Kevin Saunders, possibly an assistant coach, and then possibly also some of the players from the Gilmer Bobcats football team. So be on the lookout for that. And another reason to go and like our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. We will be broadcasting that live on our Facebook page, and then we will upload it to our YouTube channel as soon as we get done broadcasting it live. So that's going to wrap it up for the Bobcats for football this week. Moving on into Pickens Dragons territory, Pickens knew they needed a win this week to remain at the top for playoffs, and they got it. Interestingly enough, they didn't attempt a single pass play, and the defense dominated with our sideline reporter RJ Casey for Pickens County referred to as perhaps their best game of the season. So shout out for not only winning the game, but also playing so well on defense and on offense. The game recap is they won at home against Northwest Whitfield by a final score of 35-10. Pickens got on the board first with a 39-yard touchdown run by Jared Whitmore. The two teams traded possessions until Northwest scored just before the end of the first to tie things up at 7. Defense dominated for both teams in the second quarter. Pickens scored with a 6-yard touchdown run by CJ Stryker just before the break. The Dragons defense held the Bruins to a field goal coming out of the half, and then Whitmore tagged on 6 more points before the fourth with an 8-yard touchdown. So definitely both teams were playing great defense on Friday night. Stryker would rake in 2 more touchdowns in the fourth. This is a quarterback that can pass and run. He had a 3-yard touchdown run and a 14-yard touchdown run to get ahead in the fourth. So congratulations to the Dragons for getting another region win on Friday night and for continuing to stay at the top of the region for a playoff shot. Looking ahead, they are going to be on the road to Ridgeland on Friday, the 25th. The player of the week that RJ named this week was Cy Chadwick. RJ says he did an awesome job with coverage and forcing the quarterback to scramble. So shout out to Cy for getting this nomination. Now, I said that we were going to hold off on region standings until we got to the Dragons, and we are at that point in the show. This is Region 6 4A, which the Pickens Dragons and the Gilmer County Bobcats are both a part of. Those are the two teams from this region that we cover here at Team F1 Sports. Heritage and Pickens are tied for the number 1 spot. Heritage has an overall record of 6-2, 3-1 in the region, and Pickens has an overall record of 5-3 and 3-1 in the region. So these two teams are neck and neck. Northwest Whitfield is tied for third with Richland, Gilmer, or with just Northwest Whitfield and Ridgeland are tied for third. Northwest Whitfield has an overall record of 5-2 and 2-1, and Ridgeland has an overall record of 3-4 and 2-1. Then Gilmer will be sitting at the 5th place with a record of 3-4 and 1-2. Then Lafayette has an overall record of 3-5, 1-3, and then rounding out the region is Southeast Whitfield with an overall record of 0-7 and 0-3. So this is a region that is pretty neck and neck. And it is that point in the season where these teams that are playing in the region are getting tied up. But as the weeks go on, we are in week 10 of high school football. Just blows me away that we are that far along in the season, in the regular season that is. But within these next couple of weeks, you're going to see these teams start to separate a little bit as they continue to play in the region. But for now, they're all knotted up here, as you heard as I was going through these standings. Now, speaking of shows, Pickens Power Half Hour Dragon Talk will be back for another episode this Friday night. Dave Garner will be there hosting, and we will have head coach Jeff Nelson of the Dragons, as well as an assistant coach and 4 players from the Dragons football team there. I'm curious to see if they're going to wear suits again this week. They did that 2 weeks ago, and I was joking with them last week, asking them why they didn't wear suits again. So who knows, they might show up with the suits on. You never know with those guys, but they have a great time. Dave does an awesome job. So tune in for that tomorrow at 7 p.m., broadcasting live on FYNTV.com. And then it will be uploaded to our YouTube channel, FYNTV Fetcher News, shortly after. With that being said, that's going to wrap up our recap for the Dragons football from this past week. We're going to go ahead and take it on over into Blue Ridge, where the Fannin County Rebels, unfortunately, to put it simply, struggled on Friday night against region opponent North Hall. Now, North Hall is a traditionally really great football team, and that was no different this past Friday night. The Rebels, unfortunately, just couldn't. They had a hard time getting something going, and when they did, North Hall was there to stop it. But a tough team there to beat. North Hall is always within the top of the region. So it was just not the game there for the Rebels on Friday night. But there were still some good moments, so we're going to talk about that as well. The Rebels fell 38-0 against the Trojans. But speaking of those positive moments, there were sacks by Jacob Tuggle, and then Kaysen Owensby and Michael O'Neill There were numerous Rebel first down conversions during the night with rushes by Traylon Owensby, or carries by Traylon Owensby, and passes from Luke Holloway. Will Mosley also had a big moment when he recovered a fumble. I believe there were a couple of fumbles there by the Trojans that the Rebels were able to recover. But the Rebels, unfortunately, never made it into the end zone. So, we know the Rebels pretty well over there. Head coach Chad Cheatham and the players. I've hosted Rebel wrap-up several times. If there's one thing that these guys are good at, they're good at brushing one game off and going ahead into the next. So that's what they will be doing this Friday night. This is a big, in all caps, big region game. The Rebels are going to be heading down to Dawson County this Friday night. So, and again, a big region game there. And I mentioned this with the Tigers, and it's no different for the Rebels. This game is up for the High Five Sports Game of the Week. This would be an awesome moment for these guys. So go on to our Twitter account, and we'll share it on Facebook as well if we can. It is the High Five Sports Game of the Week. RJ retweeted that for us. You can vote there. Vote for the Fannin County, Dawson County game there for the High Five Sports Game of the Week. It will be featured on their show, which is on Channel 2. So definitely go and vote for them because, again, it would be an awesome thing for these guys if they could get on Channel 2 for the High Five Sports Game of the Week. Now, the player of the week was Micah O'Neal. He had numerous great stops against the Trojans' drive, so congratulations to Micah for being named this week's TeamFYNSports Player of the Week for the Fannin County Rebels. Region standings, Greater Atlanta Christian sitting at the top, 7-1 overall and 4-0 in the region. Dawson County, now this is another region that's knotted up here with the standings. Dawson County, North Hall, and Fannin County are all tied up for second. We have a three-way tie there. Dawson County has a 5-2 record overall, 2-1 in the region. North Hall 4-3 overall, and of course 2-1 in the region. And then Fannin County 5-2 and 2-1 in the region. So again, if this region game on Friday night between the Rebels and the Tigers couldn't get any bigger, because it's going to determine who's going to be sitting where in this region the following week. Now, following this three-way tie for second, we have Cherokee Bluff sitting at 3-5 overall and 2-2 in the region. Lumpkin County 1-6 and 0-3 in the region, and then East Hall 1-7 and 0-4 in the region. So a lot of things going on in this region as well, which I said it's that point in the season where these regions kind of get tied up, but it's going to shake out here in just the next few weeks, and one of those games is going to be this Friday night. So also we have Rebel Wrap-Up, which will be coming back for another episode this Wednesday night, 7 p.m., broadcasting live from the Circuit World of Blue Ridge. We will be streaming that live on our TeamFYNSports Facebook page. BKP is back in town, so he'll be hosting that show, and head coach Chad Cheatham will be there along with one of the assistant coaches, and then 4 players from the Fannin County Rebels football team. They'll be talking a little bit about maybe some things that happened in the game on Friday night, but what they'll mainly be focusing on is what they're going to be doing this Friday night, again, for such a huge region game against the Dawson County Tigers. So definitely don't want to miss that. If you can't tune in live, you can watch it later on FYN TV, Fetch Your News on YouTube. So that's how you can get in touch with us there. Now, I'll tell you what, I think I'm just going to go ahead and take our next break. And when we come back, we'll finish up our recap of high school football with the Union County Panthers, who got a big win on Friday night. Give a shout out to our Murphy Bulldogs up there in North Carolina, and Coach David Gentry. We'll talk about him here in just a minute as well. And then also the Andrews Wildcats, 2 of our teams that we cover there in North Carolina. Then we'll get on into our softball and volleyball updates. And if we have time, we'll talk a little bit about the college football standings, where everybody is from this past weekend. So stick around here with us on TeamFYNSports Instant Replay. I'm your host, Lauren Hunter.
A family of farmers, ranchers, and dairymen. Clerks, butchers, and bakers. Deli workers, pharmacists, and florists. We work hard every day to bring you the very best. And we'll continue to wake up every morning and work as hard as you do. This is our town, and we built this community together. Ingalls, your neighbor for over 50 years.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
I'm Jeff Riblett, President of Asset Protection Group. As a certified financial planner and with 20 years experience, I've helped thousands of families and business owners create a tremendous amount of wealth. Fortunately, most of that wealth has been protected. Don't allow an unforeseen life event, such as a nursing home stay or the next market meltdown, destroy your family's wealth. Be smart. Call me. Let's determine how best to protect your assets and preserve your wealth.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in LOJ, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Circuit World, with multiple locations to serve you in Murphy and Franklin, North Carolina, Blairsville, Blue Ridge, and LJ, Georgia. Locally owned and operated since 1985. Appliances, electronics, and furniture. Name brand products like LG, Samsung, Dell, Whirlpool, Ashley, Catnapper, and more. No credit check, only 10% down on furniture, and only $10 down on any new lease purchase. Mention FYN10 for your special deal today at Circuit World.
Hi everyone, Dave Garner here. You might know me as a regular contributor to Team FYN Sports and the Instant Replay, but did you know I'm also your local Woodman Life representative? My job is to make sure that families are protected through needs-based life insurance and retirement. I want to make sure that you leave your loved ones with memories, not expenses. Call me today to find out how I can help you to not outlive your money and that your money outlives you. Woodman Life, standing strong for generations.
Better days ahead. October is Truck Month at Days Chevrolet in Jasper, with the year's biggest savings on every 2019 Chevy truck and SUV in Days' massive inventory, like over $11,000 off Silverado crew cabs, or more than $8,000 off new Chevy Colorados. So don't just sit there. Go save a payload during Truck Month, happening now at Days Chevrolet in Jasper, where new Chevy trucks always cost less.
Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
We're back for this week's episode of Instant Replay, North Georgia's only live online sports show. I'm your host, Lauren Hunter, having a great time today, recapping all of the high school football highlights that we have for you this week. Now, I normally mention this at some point during my segment, so I want to go ahead and throw it out here. I'm only reading just the basic game highlights. If you want to read our full game recap, which I definitely recommend that you do because our sports writers do an awesome job, go to our website. It's fetchyournews.com. When you get to the main homepage, you'll see all of our counties spread across the top. There's a dozen total, 10 in North Georgia and 2 in North Carolina. You can click on the county that you're looking for, and it'll take you to that county's main page, and then you can click on TeamFYNSports at the top of that page, and it will take you to where all of our sports articles are located. So go and check those out so you can read all of the great game highlights that we have for you, completely covered in our full game recap articles. Now also, we have social media, plenty of it, and lots of content that goes on there on a daily basis. Our main outlet is Facebook, which is at TeamFYNSports, and we keep it consistent, the same across the board. It is the same handle on Instagram and Twitter, at TeamFYNSports. And then also our YouTube channel has daily updates as well. Great things posted on there. It is FYN TV, Fetch Your News. Go and subscribe to that so you can see all of the great content that we're putting up on a daily basis. Now, I always like to say, if you have a shout out for maybe a favorite athlete or a team, send us an email there. It is teamfynsports@fetchyournews.com, or you can even call us there at the number below. So with that being said, we're going to wrap it up with our high school football highlights here shortly. We're going to start that off with the Union County Panthers. It was a nail-biter for them. They were down a few players and desperate to stay on top of the region standings, but the defense stepped up and the Panthers accomplished this goal, so congratulations to them. They won in a tough game at home against Banks County, 14-7. Sophomore quarterback Logan Helcher stepped in for Pearson Allison and threw 2 passes that would account for both touchdowns the Panthers scored. Both of these touchdowns were passes to John Mancuso, who stepped up in the receiver role. Helcher's first touchdown pass was for 47 yards early in the game, and the other for 3 yards. But to talk a little bit about the great defensive effort as well, here are some highlights. Sloan Sutton recovered a fumble, Aaron Helton forced a fumble, and J.J. Littles got an interception. So the defense was playing awesome as well on Friday night. This game was neck and neck, and I'm just telling you, I don't do it justice here in the show. I don't feel like you've really got to go and check out James Wolfe's article on our website under the Union County tab there at fetchyournews.com. It was just a great game for the Panthers. They were looking to stay at the top of this region standings that we're going to talk about in just a minute. They certainly fought hard for this win, so congratulations to them for getting it. Looking ahead, they're going to be hosting Oglethorpe County on Friday, the 25th. The player of the week that James named was John Mancuso, who stepped up on offense and scored both touchdowns for the Panthers. He's typically in a defensive role, but he definitely stepped up on that offense this week. He also celebrated his birthday on Friday, so happy belated birthday to John as well, and congratulations for receiving this nomination. Now, region standings, Union County and Rabun County are at the very top. These are rival teams here. I don't know if Union County has beat Rabun up until this point. And so these two teams, I forget what week they're playing. It's not this week. It may be the following week. It may actually be the last game of the season. So if it is, that's going to be a huge game. But Rabun County is 7-0 and 4-0, and Union County is 7-0 and 4-0. Two teams that are defeated. It gives me chills how exciting it is. It really does. Banks County, Elbert County, and Putnam County are tied for third with the same record of 3-4 overall and split 2-2 in the region. Monticello is coming below that, 1-6, 1-3. They are tied with Oglethorpe County, who's 2-5 and 1-3 for the sixth spot. And then Social Circle is rounding out that region with a record of 2-5 and 0-4. All of the regions pretty much here at Team FYN Sports are tied up, and this one is no different. But our Union County Panthers are sitting in that top spot, tied with Rabun County. Oh, it's just so exciting. But Panther Playback will be back for another episode tonight at 6:30 p.m. or at 6 p.m. Excuse me. We changed it to 6 p.m. this season. We will have head coach Brian Allison there, along with players from the Panthers football team. We'll broadcast that live on Team FYN Sports Facebook page. We'll be hosting that from Circuit World of Blairsville. It's always a great time here with these guys, talking about the great game on Friday night and then looking ahead to the game against Oglethorpe on Friday night. These guys are they're doing awesome this season. We're so proud for them here at Team FYN Sports, going undefeated overall and in the region. So there's so much great things going on here, and I just love this job. I'll just summarize it like that. Now, that's going to wrap it up for our high school football highlights in North Georgia. We're going to switch gears a little bit and go into North Carolina because we have a couple teams in Western North Carolina that we keep up with, one of which are the Murphy Bulldogs. Now, there's a lot of great things to talk about here with these Murphy Bulldogs. They are consistently at the top of their region as well. They won on the road against Swain County in a nail-biter, 15-14. Now, I'll tell you, I was at the Lumpkin County GAC game, but I was kind of checking whenever there was a moment of downtime or it was in the half. I was checking the score for this game, and the Bulldogs came out on top just barely with a decision to go for a 2-point conversion. It was a gutsy decision there by head coach David Gentry, but it paid off in more ways than one because not only did the Bulldogs get the win they needed, but it also marked David Gentry's record-breaking win. He got his 413th career win, and with that became the winningest coach in North Carolina high school football history. So congratulations, Coach Gentry. We are so proud of you here at Team FYN Sports, proud for you. And with that also being said, every week we have our NC Sports Report, Smoky Mountain Conference report that we do at the Circuit World of Murphy. And this week will be a special episode as we will have head coach David Gentry there. And as many people as we can pack into that Circuit World, we are going to invite and have there to celebrate Coach Gentry for his awesome high school football coaching career and for breaking that record and becoming, again, the winningest coach in North Carolina high school football history. So I'm proud and excited to be a part of such a monumental occasion. So again, congratulations to Coach Gentry and to the Murphy Bulldogs that he has been coaching all these years. Now also, before we leave off of high school football and North Carolina high school football, we have the Andrews Wildcats, who unfortunately fell on the road against Hayesville 21-20, barely fell there. We hate it for them. And speaking of the Andrews Wildcats, we will also have the voice of the Andrews Wildcats, Scott Fletcher. He hosts the show alongside the voice of the Murphy Bulldogs, which is J.R. Carroll. So these two guys will be back for this special episode of NC Sports Report, Smoky Mountain Conference Report, that we will have on Thursday night, beginning at 8 p.m. live on our Team FYN Sports Facebook page. So tune into that. Now that is going to wrap it up for high school football overall in both North Georgia and Western North Carolina. But before we leave completely off of football, I want to give a shout out to the Lumpkin County Indians 7th grade team and the Pickens County 8th grade team for winning the Mountain Football League Middle School Championship games on Thursday night. I was at this game. These two teams played great, and it was a good time. I have pictures that I took there on our Team FYN Sports Facebook page, so go and check those out if you were a fan of the middle school and Mountain Football League teams. So congratulations again to them. Now that's going to wrap it up completely for football. I know I keep saying, well, we're wrapping it up with this and we're wrapping it up with that, but that is going to wrap it up completely with football for us here on this week's episode of Instant Replay. I'll go ahead and give a shout out to our ladies over in softball that are continuing to fight through the playoffs for state. The Lumpkin County Lady Indians swept Crisp County on Wednesday. They are advancing to the third round of state playoffs, which is the Elite Eight, against Franklin County High School in Columbus on Thursday. So good luck to the Lumpkin County Lady Indians as they continue on into state playoffs. Well, I'm so excited for them. I'm hoping that maybe I can go down to Columbus. We'll see if that happens or not. But either way, I'm so excited for these girls. I've been keeping up with them this season, covering them. I know how hard they work, and I know how well they play. So nobody in Columbus better count them out, because the Lady Indians are coming, and they are looking for a Final Four spot. So good luck to them. Good luck to head coach Joe Jones and all of the players and coaching staff there with the Lady Indians. Now we also have the Union County Panthers softball team who split their record with Vidalia on Wednesday the 16th, but they unfortunately fell short in the IF game on Thursday, so they are finished with their season. But they made it to the Sweet 16, so congratulations to the Panthers for such a great season. We're very proud of you here at Team FYN Sports. And I know James Wolf was able to go and cover these ladies a little bit this season. So go and check out his game recaps. It is on our website, Team FYN Sports, under Union County, and then under Team FYN Sports. Congratulations again to the Panthers on a great season. Now I'm going to go ahead and take another break. When we come back, we'll be wrapping up the show with our volleyball game recaps. They are going into state playoffs as well. They have played in one round of state playoffs, and some will be advancing to the next round. So we'll be going over that a little bit. And then we will, if we have time, talk a little bit about college football this past weekend and who's been moving where. So stick around here with us on this week's episode of Instant Replay. I'm Lauren Hunter.
Family. A family of farmers, ranchers, and dairymen. Clerks, butchers, and bakers. Deli workers, pharmacists, and florists. We work hard every day to bring you the very best. And we'll continue to wake up every morning and work as hard as you do. This is our town, and we built this community together. Ingalls, your neighbor for over 50 years.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
I'm Jeff Riblett, President of Asset Protection Group. As a certified financial planner and with 20 years experience, I've helped thousands of families and business owners create a tremendous amount of wealth. Fortunately, most of that wealth has been protected. Don't allow an unforeseen life event, such as a nursing home stay or the next market meltdown, destroy your family's wealth. Be smart. Call me. Let's determine how best to protect your assets and preserve your wealth.
Welcome back, everyone, to this week's episode of Instant Replay. I'm your host, Lauren Hunter, having a great time as usual here on this beautiful fall Monday morning, going over local high school game recaps. But before we finish up with this week's show, going over some volleyball recaps of our teams here in North Georgia who are going through the state playoffs, I want to remind you all how you can get in touch with us and follow us on social media. So starting off with Facebook, if you're watching this show live, as I like to say, you're already on our Facebook page. It is TeamFYNSports. You can also follow us on Instagram and Twitter at TeamFYNSports for updates throughout the week. And then you can subscribe to us on YouTube. It is FYN TV Fetch Your News. And then you can also send us an email there, teamfynsports@fetchyournews.com, or even give us a ring there at that phone number if you have any sort of shout outs or information that you would like to give us. Now we're going to finish up the show as far as our local high school recaps go with volleyball. So kicking it off with the White County Warriors. They won against Cartersville for the first round of state playoffs, and it is the first ever state playoff match win for White County High School volleyball. So double congratulations to these ladies here. They are taking on Richmond Academy on Wednesday in the Sweet 16. So best of luck to these ladies over in White County. In Dawson County, they defeated Harrelson in a 3-0 sweep for the first round of state playoffs. So they are also advancing to the Sweet 16 and will play on Tuesday. We do not at this time have a time and location and opponent for the Dawson County Tigers, so stay tuned with us for more information on that. Over in Lumpkin County, unfortunately, the Indians fell against Calhoun in the first round of state playoffs in best 2 out of 3. So they are finished with their season, but congratulations, ladies, on a great season. Gilmer, they are also done with their season, so congratulations to them on a great season. Same for Pickens and for Fannin, unfortunately. But again, congratulations to these ladies for their great effort during the season and for playing so well. Congratulations again to them. But to wrap it up with Union County, they defeated Model in the first round of state playoffs. They are heading back to Harlem on Tuesday for the next round of state playoffs, which is the Sweet 16. So good luck to the Lady Panthers over there of the volleyball team. And that's going to wrap it up for this week's volleyball recaps. Again, we'll try to keep you up to date with who's going where, who's playing where, and how each person is doing. So good luck to all of these teams that we have continuing at playoffs, softball and volleyball. And we are excited to see what you guys continue to do through this season. So I said that if we had time, we'd talk a little bit about college football. We've got a little bit of time for that. So we're going to take a look at the AP poll, or the AP Top 25 from this week. Speaking of, let's just go ahead and talk about Georgia, because we are Georgia Bulldogs fans here at Team FYN Sports. The Dogs did win over Kentucky, but they stayed at the number 10 spot. They fell from number 3 after losing to South Carolina the week before last, and they are still sitting at that number 10 spot, excuse me. Auburn moved up 2 spots to be at number 9. Florida moved up 2 spots to be at number 7. Penn State moved up a spot to be at number 6. Clemson dropped a spot to be at number 4, and they were bumped down by Ohio State, who's moved up to that number 3 spot. Ohio State is kind of sneaking up there. So our top 5 for now, or top 10, we'll just go ahead and give the top 10. We've got Alabama, of course, LSU, who snuck up to number 2, Ohio State, number 3, Clemson, number 4, Oklahoma, Penn State, Florida, Notre Dame, Auburn, and then Georgia, our Georgia Bulldogs there. So, man, the Dogs, I don't know what to say about them, honestly. It's just, you hate to see that they fell against South Carolina. I was at that game. I have been accused of jinxing them, but I will say, in my defense, I have gone to plenty of other Georgia games before, and they have won. And I think this was actually the first Georgia game I've gone to that they've lost. So I say, if anything, I'm a good luck charm. But anyway, I'm just going to leave that there. Georgia, I was a little disappointed in how they let Kentucky score so much on Saturday night. I just don't know. They're making me nervous. I'll just admit it. They're making me a little bit nervous. Florida has a bye week, too, before they take on Georgia. And Georgia, I forget who this is terrible. I'm a terrible Dogs fan, but I forget who they're playing on Saturday. But I will say that I guess part of the reason, I always use this reference, I guess part of the reason that I'm so nervous for them to play Florida is because my brother is a card-carrying Florida fan. And I'm afraid that this game is not going to be what we were hoping for, Georgia fans. Maybe I shouldn't say that because maybe I'm jinxing us a little bit, but Florida has that bye week to rest up and get ready, so that's the game that I'm looking to, and we'll see how it goes. We'll just have to see how everything pans out. I just feel like we just haven't been playing to our full potential, and there are some out there that may agree with me. There's some that will probably disagree with me, but I'm hoping that we get ready for this game on Saturday, and that we really just are locked down and ready for Florida, because Florida, I've said it before, I believe they're a little underestimated this year. I believe they've been a little underestimated in the previous years, and here we are, Georgia sitting at number 10 and Florida creeping up there to number 7. They're sneaky like that. So anyway, all right. Well, I'll get off that for this week, and that is going to wrap up our show for this week as well. Thank you all for tuning in for this week's episode of Instant Replay. Again, remember our social media. Remember the shows we have going on this week. Of course, we'll post all sorts of updates about those as well, so don't you worry. But again, thank you, Team FYN Sports fans, for all your support. I'm signing out for this week. I'm your host, Lauren Hunter. You've been watching Instant Replay.